Thank you.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you. Before I continue with my questions, I think they'll be to Ms Falkingham. Mr Dadda, I want to say I appreciate your candid nature and your openness, because I've rarely seen someone in your position who, when confronted with a senator telling him about a problem, says, well, that's not the end of it, it's worse than that actually. So it's only by us understanding it can we help you, can we understand what you're doing. So thank you, I appreciate that. Ms Falkingham, why have many persons with autism or on the spectrum had their services cut, often with little explanation provided?
Senator, I'm not aware of any evidence to support that claim. So I can get the scheme actuary up and he'll talk about the amount of money we invest in participants with autism.
David Gifford, Scheme Actuary. Sorry, I don't have the precise figure with me, Senator, but I believe it would be more than 200,000 participants in the scheme who have autism as their primary disability. There's no data that would suggest that participants with autism are having their services cut sort of at a rate, that growth in plans for participants with autism is different to the scheme population more broadly.
Thank you. What's planned to support older people currently receiving a disability support package that far exceeds the age pension, yet their package will cease when they reach retirement age? Their needs will not diminish and may become more acute, yet their support will be slashed.
Thanks, Senator Roberts. It might be a question for our colleagues in DSS, but the NDIS review has made a number of recommendations in relation to the interface between aged care and the NDIS, and we can absolutely do better for ensuring that people are receiving that continuous support if they have been on the NDIS, so which we do now for people under 65. But the NDIS review has made a recommendation around the interface and how we can improve upon that. But I'll check if my colleague wants to add to that.
So I just, if you qualify before you're 65, you don't come off the scheme at 65.
What happens when they go on the pension? Don't they come off the scheme?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Okay.
Not if you qualify before 65.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Are you aware of clients who own these? Remember, these are coming from a lot of our constituents, email and personal calls. Are you aware of clients who own their own home being pressured to sell their home by the service providers to move to group care?
I will check whether Deputy CEO Penelope Mackay has any evidence. I do hear that anecdotally, but I'm not aware of whether we have any current cases. We can take that on notice for you, Senator.
Okay, thank you. Why is the focus seemingly moving away from providing support based on practical needs like assistance with cooking, cleaning, showering, hygiene, to non-essential services that are routinely overcharged? We've heard stories of fishing and so on. Is there a switch there from genuine need to...
Senator, every decision we make is based on reasonable and necessary. The things that you've outlined are absolutely the core of the scheme in terms of daily living and supporting daily living expenses. So I'm not sure. We can obviously follow up for you, but obviously some people will have goals in their plans that go to recreational kind of goals and achievements. So obviously we will try and support a participant to achieve that goal by providing appropriate disability supports to enable them to do that. But things like building capacity, that's what you're speaking about in relation to cooking and cleaning and supporting people to live a good life. They are the core of our scheme, and that is predominantly what we fund now.
We've heard from constituents who are saying they've got someone who'll take them fishing, but he comes in and just does a quick look around, it's a welfare check and leaves. And so that's the kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm really happy to follow. If you've got evidence of that, I'm really happy to follow that up.
Okay, thank you. Why do agency service providers apparently get priority to receive payment over actual caregivers who do massive amounts of unpaid work? In other words, a lot of personal caregivers, family, do a massive amount of work and don't get paid, but agency service providers do?
So obviously informal supports are a critical part of someone's life, and it's one of the things we discuss as part of the planning process. We obviously fund paid supports under the scheme, but informal supports will always be a critical part of our community, and having family be able to support loved ones is a really critical part of that. We obviously always provide respite services for families as well, who do provide a lot of informal supports. But that is the nature of our scheme, is what we are funding under the NDIS.
Okay, thank you. Why is the carers allowance so pitifully small relative to paid agencies when many carers provide ongoing personal support 24 hours per day all year?
I think that might be a question for DSS.
So carers allowance is part of the social security system, not part of the NDIS, but we could talk about that tomorrow, Senator, in outcome one of DSS, when my team will be here, and they can take you through that.
Thank you. When will care providers be remunerated appropriately because they put in more needed work hours than agency service providers? Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Roberts.